show you how I started stop motion with my kids. So I simply titled it stop motion and what the assignment was, and then I made sure that the layout was a completely blank background. This was the exact way I sent it in Google Classroom. It was a totally blank Google slideshow with a title. And then I showed them the first step was to pick a background based on what their topic was. So I'm going to do something that has to do with weather and the movement of fronts. So I'm going to select this USA map as my background. Next, I want to add images, and this is where I'm going to show you how to get rid of backgrounds without having to go to a totally separate website. So what you want to do is you want to add PNG to the back of it. So I highly doubt there's going to be a PNG meteorologist, and you can see even the first one has a background. So that's where I know that there's no luck there. I told my kids what I also learned is that stick figures are a great thing to look for because there's so many options. There's different facial expressions. Some are dancing, some are crying, some are running, some are sitting. And so they can kind of transition through different stick figures throughout their story, and that makes it easier. For this one, I happened to find a teacher PNG. If you notice, every time I'm keeping that PNG there, and that's how I'm keeping there from being a background. So this teacher I actually thought looked great as a meteorologist. And you notice that she is not covering up the background except for just her image. She doesn't have some other like thing behind her. The other thing that I want to have is a cold front. And so I'm keeping that PNG there to just keep that consistent and easy for me not to have any background. So I'm done with the images that I want. I'm just going to rotate this and put it on the map. And of course we want that like a little bit smaller. The other thing is if you're having a really hard time finding something, there's also all these great drawing tools. So if I hadn't been able to find the front I wanted, I could change this to a warm front. I can make that thicker. I could even add some half circles to make my warm front. So just always remind that to yourself or kids that if you don't find the image, you can make them if they're simple. So next, what I would want to do is duplicate this slide. So I'm going to do a right click and duplicate it. And on this next one, I want to add a speech bubble, and that's within the shapes. So I'm going to go to call outs and pick one of the speech bubbles for her to start talking. And so to be able to type inside any shape, you just double click inside of it. And so I'm going to just start with the word A. And I'm also going to move this 2 spaces over, and I just used my arrow keys like I learned from Jake Miller's website. I'm going to now do a Control D on the slide. Oh, that just messed that up. Always good to learn some. So I need to click on the slide and do Control D. And then now on my next slide, I can add another word, a cold. And I am doing it one word at a time, mostly just for the purpose of the video, so you don't have to sit through me doing every single word, or every single letter, I mean. And then I need to move this a couple spaces, move this one a couple spaces, and I'm going to add another word on this one. So now I'm going to double check that I did have the movement that I wanted each time. Oh, see, I need to move this one more. Now I'm going to show you how to publish this. If you go to File, Publish to the Web, I keep it at every 3 seconds and I start the slideshow. I do a Control C, And then I do a new window, Control V, and I take away 10 because that changes it from every 3 seconds to milliseconds. And now you can kind of see what that looks like from the beginning. And at that point, I would have way more that I needed to do on my slideshow, and I would keep working. But that's a good way for you to get the start of it.